Grassi Posse, welcome to the second premiere of Game of Toms. I'm your host, Tom Grassi, and wow, what a premiere for Game of Thrones Season 7. This is the second to last time, the penultimate time that we are ever going to watch a Game of Thrones season premiere, which is kind of sad. But this is something that I've been waiting for over a year. I even wore my icy blue shirt because it was the first thing in the closet, but I'm going to pretend it's because winter is coming or winter is here. As demonstrated by that cold opening, there's going to be lots of winter puns during this episode here, with Arya pretending to be Walder Frey and taking out the whole family. It was fantastic. And it goes to show drinking kills. Don't DUI. It's really, really bad. Or don't drink at, parties that you don't know who the host is. Could be someone taking off a mask. Don't drink. But the North remembers winter has come for all the phrase. That was a fantastic way to open the season and just a badass way to be like, oh yeah, Arya is awesome and she is on a war path. But we will get to that because the first scene right after the cold open, and of course the wonderful, wonderful theme song, is the Night King and his army. It's just fantastic. It's one shot. As you see giants, you see his army, you see the Night King, and again, I think the theme and how that it's been advertised for the season is that winter's here. Like, things are going to start moving very quickly, and while we only have 7 episodes, I feel like they are not wasting any time with this, and that they are just putting the pedal to the metal and they are just going for it. And so right off the bat, you have Bran at the wall, and I was super duper excited. I was like, yes, there's going to be a reunion between Bran and Jon, and Jon's at Winterfell. He's not at the wall. Bran was laying down those cold, hard facts and being like, oh yeah, by the way, Three-Eyed Raven, I'm also a Stark, still alive. That was pretty awesome. You also have a little bit of some issues going on with Jon Snow and Sansa. Little tension there. And this is what Littlefinger alluded to in the finale of last season. And he's standing in the corner and they're bickering back and forth in front of everybody. And he's got a halfie because he's like, this is fantastic. And he's a super duper creep. He's like the uncle you don't invite to the parties because he like hits on all the family members when he gets drunk and he's super duper weird. That's him. And he's creepy. I love Littlefinger, but not enough to like let him babysit my kids. You also have Jon bringing up the idea of dragonglass. Finally, that's becoming more important, and you saw that later with Sam as well. And it was just phenomenal. You have, of course, Mormont, she is just a little ball of awesome. #girlpower, #feminism. It was great. Tormund is now like the Night's Watch. The Wildlings becoming the Night's Watch is fantastic. I'm curious to who you think, for example, when they were talking about giving back the castle to the Karstarks, who is right in that scenario? Is it Sansa or is it Jon? Because you can kind of see from both angles, and they're really going to have to work together if they're going to want to survive. And by the way, Sansa with the blow of the evening, comparing Jon to Joffrey. Like, listen, we can joke and we can talk about terrible things. We can see horrible things in Game of Thrones. Nobody's Joffrey except Joffrey. So Sansa, I think, went a little bit too far there. But it was interesting because they dwelled a lot on the past, talking about even how. And I'm so glad that Sansa finally brought this up because Robb and Ned are like the shining beacons in the show, and they both have died terrible deaths. And Sansa is like the first one to really say it. Like, they made really, really stupid decisions. Ned, who's like this noble, super great guy, like he made really dumb decisions, allowing Cersei essentially to kill him and Littlefinger to betray him. And Robb was a jackass who was like, I'm going to get married and then flaunt my new wife to the phrase. Wasn't going to work out so well. Also, you see, of course, what Cersei's doing, who's like become essentially this the Mad Queen. She knows about Tyrion, which was very interesting. They kind of skipped a little. It's kind of hard to tell how far ahead they've gone. I mean, obviously, you see Little Sam is now a little bit bigger. He's kind of a toddler now. But Cersei and Jaime having that interesting conversation over the map. And Jaime is like, he's like, I don't know how I feel about you, honey. Like, you're being a little crazy. And so now with her kids completely gone, like, Cersei don't give a crap, like, at all. and she's basically like, all right, we're gonna build a legacy. Jaime's like, for who? Like, all our kids are dead. Oh, and by the way, like, Tommen decided to take a nosedive out of a window. You want to talk about that? She's like, nope, glub, glub, glub. Let's just drink away our problems. Again, a PSA, stop drinking, people. Alcoholism's a serious thing. But seriously, how can you not see that Jaime's gonna kill her? Like, we talked about the prophecy before, about the little brother killing Cersei, and everyone thought it was Tyrion. It's got to be Jaime, because the way that he's looking at her, I mean, that pillow talk can't be good, right? It's like, yeah, remember when we had 3 kids? Yeah, they're all dead. Like, that's an awkward conversation when you're having sex with your sister. Also, Euron Greyjoy, who is kind of, in the books he's great, but in the show, really not doing too much. Made an awesome opening. He had amazing one-liners talking about how he has 2 hands. He was going back and forth, talking about killing brothers and how Cersei should try it. Came basically proposing himself to Cersei, saying, hey, I want to marry a pretty hot chick, and I want to be king. And Cersei turned him down. And so now Euron is essentially going to be going, and what I'm going to assume is attacking Daenerys and bringing the head of Tyrion or Daenerys to Cersei, or at least going to attempt to, which will be difficult because there are the 3 dragons. By the way, some little notes there. I love how the mountain is like Darth Vader now, which is pretty awesome. But the Kingsguard, who are white and gold for the past 6 seasons, are now black, which kind of represents what Cersei is, like that darkness evil. And so I thought that was pretty cool with that. You also have, let's talk about Sam real quick. That montage of just cleaning crap, that was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen on the show. Just the sound effects and the mixing of like the mushing food, and then the pouring of the diarrhea, and then the food, and then the diarrhea. And that was rough. Like, that was tough to watch. But he really, you kind of see that no one's really taking him too super seriously, except you have like the Arch Grand Maester guy, and he's basically saying, listen, you know, everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world at some point or another. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. But Sam is not willing to wait for it. He goes, he steals the books, and he finds out that there is a mountain of dragonglass hidden at Dragonstone. So you have to think, again, dragonglass coming up again, that this is going to lead Jon going down to Dragonstone, meeting with Daenerys, a meeting that I definitely want to see. Because everyone's going to essentially have to work together. And you still have the wild card of Cersei, who realizes how screwed she is, considering she's surrounded on each side by her enemies. And it's going to be very interesting what role Cersei plays, while everybody else, like in the north, and what Daenerys will be worrying about what's happening with the Night King, like where everybody's going to fall, who's going to get knocked out first. And I'm so excited to see it. By the way, we also have the continuation of the greatest relationship this show has ever seen, and that's Brienne and Tormund. You had Brienne training Podrick, which was phenomenal, and she getting a little distracted by Tormund, who's kind of strutting his stuff, and he had a great one line talking about how he wishes that he was Podrick, who was just punched and laid out by Brienne. They need to get together, and I swear to God, if one of them dies beforehand, I'm not going to be very happy at all. Sansa also having 0 time for Littlefinger, and Brienne's like, I think he wants something. And she's like, oh, I know what he wants. He's essentially a pedophile. Like, he's disgusting, and he wants my body. And he's like, yes, you're just like your mother. And it's disgusting, and it's weird. But Sansa's kind of playing the game a little bit, and she wants Jon to listen to him because she is not innocent anymore. She brought that up with Ned. Like, she's not a baby. Like, you know, Ned didn't curse in front of me, blah, blah, blah. You know, she's been in this, and if anybody has suffered throughout this series, Sansa is definitely one of those who has. We also had a weird little moment with Arya riding around the woods, and you hear this beautiful voice, and you're like, all right, someone's singing. And Ed Sheeran made his appearance in the Game of Thrones universe, which was a little weird, but he made this Arya, which, again, this was a little surprising. We thought that she was going to be heading north, going to go see Jon. Not the case, though. She's going south. She's like, I'm going to kill Cersei. I'm going to kill the queen. They all laugh, and she's like, ha ha. No, but seriously, I'm going to kill her. So she's going down the list, kids. So she's coming for Cersei. Going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. The Hound had a very interesting scene during this premiere. One, I mean, no one delivers dialogue like the Hound. I miss the Hound a lot because no one can make the jokes. No one has like the quips like he does. But he's hanging out with the brothers, the Brotherhood Without Banners. He's calling people top knot and he's calling them bald. But one of the cool things was, and this was a throwback back to season 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken, when Arya was traveling around with the Hound and they ran into that random peasant guy with his daughter, and the Hound robbed him. And Arya's like, listen, they're gonna die if you like take their stuff. And the Hound's like, they're gonna die anyway. And he now sees what's left over of that, the dad like killing his kid in his arms and he killing himself, which is just brutal. But you really see like kind of this redemption arc that the Hound is going through. He's becoming a different character. He's looking into the fire and he's seeing things now. Like he's not a religious guy, but now all of a sudden he's like, all right, maybe I have to expose myself to things that I wasn't willing to before. And I think the most interesting thing, by the way, when he said I saw a mountain, I was like, Clegane Bowl, let's do it. But it was like a literal mountain. But I mean, I'm really interested to see if this happens, the Hound meeting back up with Arya and how he's going to react to that, considering he's like becoming a better person. But at the same time, Arya left him for dead. So I don't know if that's going to be a good conversation. And I mean, the Hound is on Arya's list. Is she going to leave him because she already left him for dead? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Also, you see that Jorah is in Westeros. He is with Sam. He's being held prisoner because he is looking like the Thing from Fantastic Four. He's like, is anything going on with Daenerys? Like, is she back yet? Because he is still locked in the friend zone. So I'm wondering if he is getting help from the Maesters. It looks like he's being held prisoner, but at the same time, if he's going to go find help, I would assume it's from the Maesters at the Citadel. And then the last thing, finally, is Dany and company finally landing in Westeros, which is a really cool moment. There wasn't a lot of dialogue. Her just walking through, you saw the remnants of like Stannis and the burning stag, and she's ripping it down, and she's like going through. She sees the throne. She's looking at everything, and then she's like, all right, let's take it over. I thought it was a very good premiere. I think it was a lot better than the last season premiere. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I'm very excited of where this is going. And again, expect this season to move very, very quickly, as this is going to be an intense season. And it's crazy that right off the bat, we don't have many episodes left, which is very sad. We have like 6 episodes left, which hurts. But I think that we're going to be in for it this season, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm Tom Grossi. You can find me at TomGrossiComedy.com. It's TomGrossi Comedy, or at Tom Grossi Comedy on Twitter. Let me know what you think. Did you like the premiere? What are your thoughts about it? Where do you think they're going with it? Who do you think is right, Sansa or Jon? That's going to be, I think, is going to be a theme throughout the season. Is it going to tear them apart, or is it going to bring them closer together? Let me know what you thought. Thank you so much for watching. Real quick little sponsorship show out. You could go to tom.ting.com. It's a cell phone service. It uses Sprint network. It's a pay-as-you-use service, and it's super duper good. I've had them for like 6 years, and I pay an average phone bill of about $35 a month. If you want to check that out, use tom.ting.com. You save yourself $25. Do what you gotta do. I'm not your mother. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. I'll see you next week.